Hi, welcome to Diamond Custom Paint Shop. In this video, this is going to be series number 3 on this custom helmet that I'm painting. In the last episode, we went ahead and painted the white base coat on it. In this episode, we're going to be painting a black base coat with some graphics. It'll actually be gray and black base coat with some black, graphics, and you'll understand when I tell you. Some of the things we're going to be using in this video is Limeline's fine line tape. We're going to be using an 1/8 inch and possibly a 16th inch. And then we're going to be using 1/4 inch masking tape from Limeline. We're also going to be using honeycomb stencil. I printed this out on my Cricut. But Limeline sells a honeycomb stencil you can buy off their site, which is really good. I just didn't have, I usually have some on hand, but I didn't, so I had to hurry and kind of print one off on my Cricut. Then we're going to be using probably some plastic to mask off around where we're going to be painting. Makes it nice and easy so you don't have to put tape on your whole helmet. And then we're going to be using, I have some pre-mixed gray here in this, where I just took some black, put it in there, and then kept adding white till it was the gray that I wanted. And then we're going to do some, so first is going to be the gray paint, and then we're going to apply the, I don't know if it's the positive or negative on these, but it's, the thin part right there. We're going to apply that on the gray area, and then we're going to spray black base coat over top of that. So then when we pull it off, like the areas on this that are white, they'll be gray, and then it'll be black behind it. So it'll be like kind of a subtle honeycomb look under there. So yeah, that's the plan. So we're going to cut this video, and I'll be right back. We'll be set up with me laying out these graphics. Oh, the other thing I'll probably be using is this Stabilo pencil here, and this is water soluble, so it wipes right off. But let me caution you, when you're doing it on white, sometimes it's hard to get off, so I usually go really light with this to do some marks, some measurements, to make sure I get my measurements from side to side right. And usually what I do for my measurements, I'll just use my vinyl tape to kind of do marks on this, from where, from a certain point, and mark it on the helmet. But like I said, when you're doing this on the pure white like that, you want to do really light, so it doesn't, kind of stain on there when you try to wipe it off. So, and then a lot of times I'll try to do it like I'm doing a black graphic here, I guess you could say. So I'll do this on the inside where I know that black or gray is going to be covering over it. So I'll mark it on the inside there. So that'll help if when I use like glass cleaner, it doesn't wipe all this off. It's not a big deal because it's going to be covered with the base coat anyways, or the graphic. So, all right, well, let's cut, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to continue on masking here. As you can see, done a lot of the masking on the sides here. Got my design down, matched it on both sides. Where the masking is going to be is where I want to leave white. So this is actually going to be a red stripe here, but I want to leave that white to put my red on. So yeah, and that's going to be all white. So now we just have to mask the front there. That's going to be white coming down. And then, so the other spots we have from here to here, even though there's a line there, this wedge shaped right here coming down to here is going to be all white too. So, and instead of putting using tape for this whole thing, taping it all out, I'm going to use some paper. Just get this from like Home Depot or whatever in their paint section. Comes in really handy. You can use plastic. Plastic is pretty easy too. Either way, I usually use the plastic for kind of bigger areas if I was going to kind of cover the whole helmet, and then kind of just cut out part pieces of it to mask off. So we may use the plastic on this helmet in another portion of it. I thought I was going to use on this, but I ended up kind of where the white is. It was just easier just to tape it up. I try to tape as least as I can because I don't like risking, because I haven't clear coated this yet. This is just a base coat of tape peeling up my base coat. I mean, the chance is pretty slim, but there's still a chance. So I like to avoid it if I can. Another tip I have is to try to mask off, paint, and then pull your tape in the same day. Try not to leave your tape on there for too long, because that seems like the tape gets stickier as you leave it on there, and more chance of it pulling up your bottom layer there. Now, if this was clear coated, I wouldn't worry at all, but just the fact that there's just a base coat on there. So what I'm going to do is just take a piece of paper here. It's kind of about the size I need. And what I do is I kind of just hold it up here, kind of fold some edges around. You know, basically get some tape here and just start taping, and then you can kind of cut it as you need to. But once you get your first little piece down, it goes a little easier. Get this kind of where I want it. No, that didn't. Put that tape on there very straight. And I'll show you, maybe I'll do the plastic on the other side. I'll kind of show you the difference. So you're just going to line that up with your kind of green that you've already kind of pre-taped that edge there, make it a little easier for you. Then simply all you're going to do is just get some tape and then just mask that around. Oop. Got my hoodie caught on the camera holder there. There we go. Yeah, I'll do the plastic like I said on this other section over here. You can kind of see how that goes too. I don't know if it's easier or harder than the paper. Sometimes the plastic's easier. Number one, you can see through it, and you can try and just cut your area out. Like this first part isn't bad, but then when I go to do this underside here, and all I usually do is kind of get it close there, and I'll take my razor knife, just kind of cut along there, a little spot edge out. looks good. Okay. So now we'll do the plastic on this side. Kind of the same thing. We'll get a length here. And this has a tape on the edge here, so I can kind of just go like this and follow that edge with it. And I'll go to about right there. You can see this plastic is really thin here, so it's easy to cut with your razor blade. And you just get this, just go on Amazon, pretty cheap. I actually prefer using the plastic a lot better than the paper, just because you'll see here it's a little easier. And this will fold out quite a bit, but I don't need it all the way out, just enough to cover. Okay, see what I'm saying? Now I can see that now. I can just simply take my razor knife and just barely drag it across, and it's gonna cut that plastic. So I'll kind of make sure it's nice and flat, and it's kind of clingy too a little bit, has a little static to it. So I'm just gonna we'll go from right here. And just go on top of your tape you already have there. That, and just kind of come across. As you can see how easy that was, kind of pulls away. And then you just take your tape, and you kind of want to, I always pull this up just a little bit, because you want to make sure this plastic edge isn't on that edge there, because then paint will blow up. So you want to pull this back so your tape will kind of make sure it fills that gap here. Let's see. And just tape along your taped edge already. And there we go. That's it. So you can see that way is a little bit easier than the paper. Make sure you just kind of double check everything. Make sure it's not doing any overlaps or covering where it shouldn't. Everything's down. Okay, put that in there. That looks all good. Put a piece across the front here. And another little piece that's kind of coming up right there. Little gap, because especially the black, when we're spraying the gray and black, it will blow up under there. And check your plastic. Since that was so thin, just always check your plastic. Make sure there's no holes or anything in it from you accidentally nicking it with your blade or something else. Okay, and then we're just going to finish off the rest of this here with some tape. Okay. And always make sure you have a sharp, fresh razor blade when you start out. Their blades are cheap and they get dull pretty quick. So I usually put a fresh blade in whenever I start a new project. Makes your life a lot easier, but do be aware that get used to the feel, how much pressure when you have a brand new blade, because you don't have to have much pressure at all and it'll cut. You don't want to be cutting through, digging into your bottom coats stuff here. So I'm just going to kind of double check. Probably put another piece of tape down there. Let's see, right here. You can see right there that piece of tape is kind of covering where my black line is going to go. So we'll just trim that. So you just follow all your edges around, double checking everything. Okay, now I'm just going to apply the honeycomb stencil. You can see here, just pulling thin part. That's negative or positive on me. Pull off the thin part away from it. Apply this component. Okay, now we're gonna start unmasking everything. I let this base coat dry for about 10 minutes now, so we'll see how it's looking. I need to wait a little longer. Looks pretty good so far. Got my plastic razor blade, but you do need to be careful because you can cut through this base coat really easy because it's nice and fresh. So as you can see, that's turning out real good with that gray. It almost looked black before, huh? Then when you put the black over top of it, then you can tell it's the gray underneath. But initially, you always get nervous. You're like, oh, is that going to be too dark, not light enough? But don't be fooled. What I always do, like when I'm mixing the gray, I'll actually get a little bit of black paint and put it next to it from what I mix, and you can tell the difference there. So just a little tip there to kind of gauge your gray tone, or put it next to a white, whichever side of the spectrum you're on. You want to know the contrast. So we'll just carefully kind of pull all these up here. Making sure it's not going to start pulling any of the paint. It's kind of what we're looking for. Everything's coming off pretty good so far. So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing from the edge over here where it overlaps onto the masking to grab a piece. Okay, and then double check, make sure you got it all. We'll go ahead and grab me a chair to do the other parts. Okay. If you see I didn't quite cover all this here, that's because I know there's going to be another graphic that goes across that, so I wasn't too worried about it. I just wanted to kind of get where I wasn't sure if a graphic was going to be. And these are just the base coats, the bottom layer. We're going to build upon this. After I get all the masking off, I'm going to totally unmask this. Besides, you know, like I talked about in my other video, the yellow I put on, we won't be taking off the yellow tape, just the green. The back masking we're going to take off, and then we're going to clear coat this, so then we can kind of have a fresh slate to build off of some more graphics. Okay, looks like we got all the honeycomb off. Little piece right here, that. And then we'll start with taking off this masking where we have the plastic and the paper. Kind of find a good edge here. And then remember, the other tip is whenever you're unmasking, even these bigger layers, and not the one that's right up there, always kind of try to pull away from your paint so you don't, if there's a bridge of paint going across, so you don't peel up all your paint you just put on there. Okay, we're just gonna pull this up here. Okay. And also be mindful of your tape that you have in your hand doesn't fall down onto your paint. We may have a couple of blow-through spots. It looks like I got here and there, but we can touch those up pretty easily. with the airbrush, some white. Now if we would have had clear coated after the white, we could just go ahead and just get some reducer, wipe off the blow through areas. So as you can see, I did the plastic, no blow through. Well, we got a little bit somehow came up under here. But with the paper, you know, we missed, somehow got through in a couple of spots. So yeah, on the curved surfaces, I'd say the plastic is the way to go. But whatever you have on hand, you can make it work. It's just a matter of paying a little more attention to detail. Okay, let's see. I would just try to get all the big, not my outline tape off first, all the bigger stuff. Watching as you're pulling away, that's not starting to take up any white paint. So if it does, you want to kind of stop, then you kind of maybe hold it to limit the damage. And then you could, if it did take up a little chunk, you would want to clear coat and then fix it after the clear coat. Sand the clear coat smooth, and then fix your white. Okay, so we have some blow through spots. You can see, kind of look around, just some small spots here and there. We'll fix those after we clear coat, because some of this I need to tape off onto the black, and I don't want to risk pulling the black up. So we'll take care of that. And then you can use, before we clear coat this, we can use some glass cleaner. There's some spots right there I'll get up. But yeah, so we're going to be ready to clear coat. And we're going to use Limeline's new double shot clear coat. in a rattle can, 2K clear. We're going to give that a try. Okay, well, that about wraps it up for this one. Just to recap on what we did here on this helmet. We first went ahead and masked off for where we sprayed the gray. We used lime lines, fine line tape, and lime lines masking tape to do that. We masked it all off. We used the plastic to mask off this area. I showed you that. And we used the paper over here, kind of show you the two methods that you can do to mask off bigger areas. I favor, the plastic mostly. There's some projects, I like to use the paper, but for this instance, the plastic was the better option. As you can see, we did have some blow through from our masking here. A couple spots, down here. You look around, one right there, a spot right there, and a couple spots up here. Oh, and then on the front, we had a couple of spots there and there. So I decided to clear coat it first, and then the first thing I'm going to do in the next video is we're going to kind of mask off these areas I need to kind of sharpen up with the white. The reason I didn't do it on this step was before I clear coated, I was worried, kind of, because I'm going to have to mask off on the black. I was worried when I, mask it and peel it up, you risk peeling the paint up. So it's just easier to do it this way. It's quick and easy. So yeah, we did the masking. Then we mixed up some gray using Limeline's black base coat and white base coat together to get the gray that we wanted. Like I said in the video, a good tip because when we sprayed the gray on initially, even I was like, is that looks black to me. Is it going to show up, when I spray the black? But tip I use is when you mix up that gray, you'll take the black and you'll kind of put it on a stick or something and put them together, and you'll be able to see the difference. And you can do the same if you're on the other spectrum, closer to the white. If you want to see what it looks like against white, that's a good tip to use so you kind of see, because it can be deceiving when you spray it on here. So then we used, so after we did spray the gray on with the Limeline's minigun, the 0.8 tip, then we went ahead and applied the honeycomb stencil. Now I used my own I made on my Cricut, but usually I use Limeline has a honeycomb stencil I like a lot better than using it off my Cricut. It's cut better. It seems to lay down a little better than the paper I was using, the vinyl. But anyways, we made it work. And then after we laid down that stencil, we went ahead and took pure black and sprayed it over, removed the stencil, and as you can see, we get left with a subtle honeycomb look on there. In the next video, like I said, first thing we're going to do is touch up these areas of white. And then we're going to start on some graphics. I have a red stripe that's going to kind of run from here around up in here. So we're going to do that next. And then we'll decide if we clear coat that before we go to the next step, because then we're going to do this is for a Honda HRC helmet. So we're going to do some kind of wings, 3 wings here on the side. So we'll decide. We may do a couple of those, but we'll decide once we lay down the red, see how comfortable I feel. I think the one wing goes in the red a little bit, so I think we'll be all right. We'll probably lay down the wings and do the first stage of the wings. So stay tuned for my videos. If you haven't subscribed to my channel. Hit the like button, the bell button, so you see when a video comes out, and you can see what we did to get to this point. And you can also, see the rest of this project. There'll be a few more videos on this project before I'm fully done with it. Like I said, it's come along really good. Oh, then we used at the end Limeline's new 2K clear coat and a rattle can. I'm going to put a video out just to review the clear coat itself. So go ahead and check that one out. That'll be out right around the same time as I post this video, not too either before or after. I'm not sure, so look out for that. If you don't see it, go back and you'll be able to check it out. And that stuff, as you can see, laid down really nice. I'm really happy with it. So go ahead and pick you up some of that. Like I said, if you go down to the link in my description, you get 10% off anything at limelinepaintsupply.com. So go ahead and pick you up all these supplies that we use here today. So if you want to do a project like this. So on that note, we'll see you on the next one.